All right, so the Jamaica Defence Force, one of the major Jamaican entities we are looking to in times of crisis. We've got Vice Admiral Antoinette Weems Gorman here. She's our CDS, our Chief of Defence Staff, along with Colonel Damien Creary, Colonel General Staff of the JDF, here to talk about what these folks are doing, what they're seeing on the ground in the aftermath of Hurricane Melissa and their efforts to help us restore. Good morning to you both.
Morning, ma'am.
So good
morning,
to
sir.
see you.
Good morning.
Thank you both for your service.
Yes, quite so. First of all, CDS, how's your team doing? Like, we always see you deployed and out and jumping from helicopters and in communities and wading through water, and it's all life-saving work, but it's life-risking work too.
Well, thank you for asking. Over 200 of the soldiers have been affected directly. But we're doing what we're doing. We're pushing through. We dig deep, and we know we have to be here for the citizens of Jamaica. So, yeah, we're pulling through.
Service above self, yeah.
May I stay with you, ma'am? So, when something like this happens, and you know it's going to happen, what you do? Like, so, when you hear say it's going to happen, what are you asked to do?
So, the JDF has a well-documented process of preparation for hurricanes, and we do fall in under the Office of Disaster Preparedness Emergency Management. So, internally, we go through systematic steps of preparation to ensure that after the storm, we're able to deliver what is required of us. We have it in 5 phases, and I could get into those details, but essentially, when we have a warning of a storm, we start to track them as waves, and as they continue to develop, we get into different levels of preparedness, from securing us, checking off what we have and making sure we fill those gaps, and then we do get down to the stage of battening down our own bases. We deploy and secure our critical assets, so that the ships go away, they sail for safe harbor. The aircraft are secured, some of them are flown out of the country to ensure that we have their capability after. Then we send the soldiers home to go and try to prepare their own homes, those who are not living in barracks. And then we hunker down for the blow, and immediately after, we're the first persons out.
Okay. How do I address you, sir? Colonel General? Is that how I say it, sir?
Colonel is okay.
Colonel. What was this like for you, sir? Ever been through anything like this?
Absolutely nothing like it. It was just so different from all that we've been used to. I mean, we've seen disasters before. I mean, we've seen the pandemic. We've seen Hurricane Beryl and a number of other things, but just the scale of this has been so much more. And of course, in terms of the operations that the JDF does on a day-to-day basis, is just significantly different. This is really about saving the lives of our citizens in a different way and assisting them so that they are not in stress, and so completely different.
Is this what you would call the ultimate test in everything that you've seen? Is this where all your SOPs and everything you've ever put on paper is put to the test in the most significant way?
I would have to say, in my career, it has been the most significant test to the JDF.
Wow.
Vice Admiral, you just say you look after your own folks also. How difficult is that? Because I suspect some of them not only would have family down there, some of them probably come from down there also and would have difficulties just thinking about that. How difficult is that to say, it's all right, but you still have to go out there and you still have to do your thing?
Well, we ensure that we reassure them. And one of my directives immediately, even before the storm hit, was to ensure that we dedicated a team that would be specifically looking at assisting our own persons who are affected. As I said before, after this storm, we were not able to account for or communicate with over 200 soldiers. And as the days went on, we reached them either physically, or they reached us physically, or through some means. My approach is to ensure that I look after them, their administration, their welfare, and then they come out to serve.
So what's been happening on the ground? Colonel, let me ask you. I see all sorts of things in social media, rescues, handing out of care packages. Tell me what's going on, and how are you getting particularly to the folks who are cut off in the communities that we still hear people say we can't come out?
Okay, so before we actually get to what's happening now, let me just try to take us a stage back. As the CDS said, our deployment started well before the storm actually hit. And so we were pre-deployed right across Jamaica. We, in terms of our major assets that we knew would be brought to bear, we pre-deployed those as well, and of course our soldiers to be able to respond very quickly after the blow. And so in many communities, there are about 26 or so communities that were completely cut off immediately after the blow. But because we were positioned, in preparation for this, we were able to get into these communities a bit easier. But I must say, though, that it was not easy. The soldiers, along with volunteers, and I must commend the average citizens who came out and worked alongside us to get through roadblocks, landslides, and so on. Worked through many miles of cutting debris and so on to get to the communities. Having gotten to these communities, the situation that exists, as we know, is severe. And so the soldiers have had to provide medical care. They've had to provide relief, and I'd go as far as to say even counseling support, because there are families who are really, really distraught. But overall, there has been significant coordination among various entities, ODPEM, MLSS, international and regional partners, to ensure that we bring a collective effort to this response, and it has been going very well so far.
Sir, you said earlier that you've never seen anything like this. Does that also mean that your soldiers have been asked to do stuff that they've never been asked to do before?
Absolutely.
Most definitely.
What are some of those things?
Yeah.
CDS, what are some of those things?
For example, I had a report yesterday that a team of my soldiers had encountered a lady who had just delivered a young baby. She was sitting on the foundations of her home. It was completely destroyed, and she had a very young baby. We had to treat with that, get her medical care, and of course, find the support that she needs. So some of those things. We've recovered some 30-something bodies.
36 bodies, man.
That's not normal in Jamaica.
36 bodies.
Yes. So most of the bodies were in cut-off areas, and that was the JDF that were recovering those. And of course, there were soldiers who they themselves were completely, and their communities were completely destroyed. So whilst they did not have shelter, they were helping others.
Yep.
And then secondment of one of your own to now head an agency to help, it was ODPEM, to help with those efforts as well.
Yes, the coordination between ODPEM and the JDF has always existed. I think what this secondment will bring to the table is that Commander Gale has more reach into the JDF, an understanding of what we can bring in terms of planning, coordination, and execution of relief. So that will make it a little bit more seamless.
The last time I read, the official count was 32 dead, but you're saying you recovered 36.
You said 30 odd. You said 36 specifically?
Yeah, you said 36.
So, notwithstanding, there's actually a process where the JCF and the forensics investigations.
So I think the last press release said that number. At that time, there were reports of 4 at the time.
And you just said, CDS, before we started, there's a lot to do for a long time. Outlook, what do you foresee? Your underground, it's going to be a while, eh?
It's going to be a while. There are people who are still recovering from burial.
Yeah. Did you put up your hand and say, why them give me this position?
Never that.
The service just continues. 33 years in, so.
Thank you so very much for your service.
What do you say to your members this morning? Folks who are, them at work now, but what do you say to them as they're watching?
First I want to thank them for their commitment and their persistence and executing under arduous and difficult circumstances, and to reassure them that we're doing all that we can to ensure that we bring the resources and we look after their welfare so they can continue, because we have to serve. The JDF is the organization that has the most capability to do so, and we will do it for the long haul.
Thank you so very much. God bless you both, and God bless the folks who you lead. Whose birthday?
Whose birthday?
Oh, Remembrance Day. When was that?
Remembrance Day is
It's tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
We had the service yesterday.
Okay.
It's tomorrow. Vice Admiral Antoinette Weems Gordon, Chief of Defense Gorman, Chief of Defense Staff, and Colonel Damien Creary.
Get it
Colonel
all the
General Staff at JDF. Almost gave her a round, but I collected quickly. Coming up, folks, the Jamaica Customs Agency talks concessions for relief items. So come, stay with us, please.